when you launched in Target, we were both at the Ubiquitous conference in DC. You had a big event, like Giselle Bryant, myself. We were all there at that event. That was like 2018, maybe.
Yeah.
Like 2018.
Maybe like 7 years ago.
Yeah. And then to celebrate your 10-year last year here in Atlanta. And you said something that really stood out when you got on the microphone. And there have been people who have made so many comments about this acquisition with Procter & Gamble of Mielle Organics. And there have been people who said, well, what are you going to pass down to your children and the legacy for your children? You said, this was my dream, not my children's dream. This was my dream, not my children's dream. I want them to dream their own dream of what they want for their life. And I think that was, when I listened to you say, I said, man, that's so powerful. Because so often as Black people who start these, amazing companies and they become acquired, and oftentimes we forget that that's the thing that we want to do. We want to have our businesses acquired. We want to scale them in a way that they are profitable, that can, generate money we've never even dreamed of, right? And you said that this was your dream, not your children, and you wanted them to have their own dream. I thought that was just so powerful. What do you say to people who are the critics and the naysayers that have said the formula has changed? It's not the same since she sold out. She sold her business. What do you say to those people?
What I say to the critics is that I understand why you criticize me, because if I wasn't doing something great, people would have nothing to say.
Yeah.
So I understand that it comes with the territory, criticism, and, people that want to criticize your decisions but have no idea what it takes to be in your shoes or to get to your position, right? People tend to criticize what they don't understand. And criticism also comes from a place of internal projection. So people will tend to internalize and project what they may be insecure about and their fears and their lack of courage, because they don't have the courage to walk a day in my shoes or to make the decisions that I've made, right? And I don't do things for the cheers of the crowd. I do things with purpose and intention, because when you do things for the cheers of the crowd, you fall by the criticism of the crowd.
Yeah.
And people are very fickle. People are very emotional. And I know that. I came from a nursing background, so I understand the empathy and the psychology of people. And you cannot be driven by the emotional instability of the social media world, because one minute they love you, the next minute they hate you, and they did that to Jesus. So if they love Jesus one minute and crucified him the next, what makes any of us think that we are exempt to being criticized in this world? Of course, criticism hurts, it stings, but I know my purpose and my calling is very divine. And I know that God has called me to do this work. And I know the prayers and the conversations and the journaling that I had with God. And this is the direction and the steps that God has ordered and ordained. And when you criticize that, you're criticizing his purpose and plan. So it's not my battle to fight. It's not my battle to deal with. You have to deal with the Creator who put me on this earth to accomplish this. So what I say to the criticisms is, thank you. You only push me and motivate me to go even harder, to be even stronger. And when people question the legacy that I'm leaving for my kids, the legacy that I'm leaving is freedom. The freedom that I didn't have, to be 18, graduating high school, and saying, oh, I want to explore and really discover what my passions are and really find my true purpose, versus, no, you have to go to school to be a nurse. You have to finish college. The structure that was put on me and not even giving me the choice to identify and know myself before I was able to even grow up to be an adult and come out into this world, it was already written of what my mom wanted me to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to my kids. I want to give them the freedom and the flexibility to do whatever it is that's positive that they enjoy doing, because that is living a fulfilled life. It is not fulfilling doing something and just going with the everyday okie doke of getting up, doing the same routine, and you're not happy doing it.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many critics, because people have not found their true purpose and they're not happy in their lives. Because
Amen.
happy people don't criticize other people. I don't go on social media
Come on.
and criticize people. If you see a comment from Exquisite Mo, you will see something positive. I have never said
Yeah.
anything negative.
Yeah.
I don't have time to do that. So if you are living in a life of misery and being unhappy, yes, you're going to criticize. So I pray for them. I wish them well, but just know that they're not stopping anything.
Yeah. I love that. You're setting them up for a life of freedom, a life
Yeah.
that you didn't have. I mean, and you mentioned this in you saying this, that you journaled this
Yes.
because you journal. Talk about manifesting the desires of your heart. Talk about manifesting the life that you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
You wrote down in your journal that Mielle would be acquired by Procter & Gamble.
Before I even knew that we were going to have a meeting with Procter & Gamble.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. These are the conversations that I have with God. My journal is a place, a sacred space where I can sit down and write. God says, write the vision and make it plain.
Yeah.
Right? If he's telling me to do that, then I'm going to go in my closet and I'm going to just start writing. I'm going to write the vision. I'm going to put the work in. I'm going to pray over it. Faith without works is dead. And before we even knew that we would be meeting with Procter & Gamble, we met with a lot of different conglomerates, right, in choosing our partners. So we started this process in August of 2022. In May of 2022, I wrote in my journal, and I have proof that Mielle will be acquired by P&G. Where did that come from? That came from God.
Yeah.
God gave me that inspiration to write that down. And I actually forgot that I wrote it down, right? And God will always confirm his word. He will always, this is so powerful, he will always remind you. Because when we were in negotiations with 2 different companies of deciding which way we were going to go, we went to our church and we had our pastor pray. Because we were like, we're torn between these 2 companies. We don't know which direction we want to go in. Like, give us some guidance and prayer. And my pastor started saying, like, there's something about P&G that's jumping in my spirit.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I cannot make this up.
Yeah.
And so that when we got confirmation from my pastor, that's when we went back and we made the decision. Mind you, this was like at midnight. We were in negotiations at midnight on Zoom because we had to make a decision. And once we finally made the decision, you know, we signed all of the documents, did all of the negotiations, and we closed. And I happened to be in my closet getting ready to journal again after the transaction closed. And I'm flicking through my pages. Why the page that I flicked through is a page that reminded me of what I wrote down in May of 2022. When I tell you I had chills,
Yeah.
I ran and told my husband, I said, Melvin, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
I said, look what I wrote down. And this wasn't the first time that I did something like that, right? I said, look what I wrote down. And he looked at the journal and he saw the date and he was like,
Unbelievable.
oh, wow.
Wow. I mean, I got chills while you were telling the story.
I get chills every time
Yeah.
I tell the story because I'm like, listen, I have chills. Like, this is nothing but God.
Yeah.
This is God ordained.
Yeah.
So when people want to criticize that, man, I've been through worse.
Yeah.
I've been through much worse. Like, there's nothing that anyone can say on social media that doesn't know me from a can of paint can do to, like, hurt me because it's not even, like, I know why I'm here.
If that blessed you, trust me, you've only scratched the surface. There's so much more wisdom, truth, and transformation waiting in the full conversation. Click the link in the caption below to watch the entire interview, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode of Vault Empowers Talks.